I need heart surgery. Not physical heart surgery, thankfully, but spiritual heart surgery, certainly. At least when it comes to the area of giving. It's over 20 years now since I was ordained priest down in Portsmouth Cathedral, and I remember very distinctly lying face down on the floor of the sanctuary, and in that offer of submission, effectively handing my life over to God, submitting everything into the Father's loving hands. And yet I know that despite being sincere about that, despite still being sincere about that, there are things that I still cling onto, that I can't let go of, that I can't entrust to him. As shocking as it might sound, all of us really are born self-centered. Lots of you will know this much better than me, that the first words that we cry out aren't mama or dada, but wah, or something to that effect, which translates as feed me, or clean me, or help me get to sleep, or maybe all of the above. And I know that on that journey from being born self-centered through to really giving everything over to God, there's still a long way for me to go. And food for me is often a barometer of that, an indicator of that. It shows me where I have furthest to go. So, for example, sometimes I'll go for a meal in a restaurant and I'll be with someone and we'll get to the end of the meal and it'll be time for dessert or pudding. And the waiter or waitress will come over and they'll say, what would you like? And I say, oh, can I have some chocolate brownies, please? And I say to the person that I'm with, what would you like? And they say, well, nothing really. I'm not really very hungry. I'm fine. Which is good. That's okay. But then they'll say, I'll just have some of yours. And inside, I'm thinking, what do you mean some of mine? I'm ordering exactly the amount of brownies that I want to eat. That's why I'm ordering a whole pudding for myself. But I don't say this. I just very gently say, it's okay if you want some brownies. I can order you some brownies. Just let me know. It'll be fine. And of course they say, no, I'll be fine. I'm not really that hungry. So the brownies come, and within 10 minutes, another spoon has come along, and over half of the chocolate brownies that were originally on my plate have been offered to this unhungry deity that has been asking for them. And even as I'm telling that, I can tell inside me, I'm starting to tighten my grip on those brownies in my imagination, and that sense of injustice, unfairness is rising. My default position, if I'm honest, is to hoard, to avoid sharing with anyone, especially when it comes to food that I like. I need heart surgery. Maybe it's just me. Maybe some of you in other ways. Maybe for you it's brownies, it's puddings, desserts at restaurant. Maybe there's other things that you cling on to. I don't know. But our loving Father, our Heavenly Father, he comes along and he says, Father Mark, I want to deal with this selfish heart of yours. I want to make you a giver. I want to give you a heart like mine. And so what do I have to do? I have to admit that I've got a selfish heart, and I want to ask God's help to give me a selfless heart. I need to ask God to prevent me from having a grieving heart. What do I mean by a grieving heart? A grieving heart is one where I give something and then instantly I regret it. Or I think, oh, I wish I didn't have to give that away. I wish I could have held onto it. I grieve what I've lost. Sometimes it's helpful, that idea of stewardship in that case, to remember that actually what I call mine isn't really mine. Everything I have, my time, my talents, my treasure, my possessions, even my body, it's not really mine. It's been given to me, lent to me by God. Lent to me by God for the building up of his kingdom. And then I also need to ask God to give me a generous heart. God didn't create giving because he needs money, for example, to pay the electricity bill up in heaven. He doesn't have need for my money, but he needs me to give so that I can be more like him, so that I can be more generous, so that I can be more loving. It's for my benefit that he asks me to give, not his. And then finally, I need to ask God for a grateful heart. Those of you who were here in the lead up to Christmas, we were talking a lot about this, recognizing those blessings that we've got. My family, my friends, my faith, just to name but a few, giving thanks for them. Be compassionate, Jesus says, as your Father is compassionate. Don't judge, and you won't be judged yourselves. Don't condemn, and you won't be condemned yourselves. Grant pardon, and you'll be pardoned. Give, and there'll be gifts for you. A full measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be poured into your lap. So Jesus is commanding us, really, for our own benefit, commanding us to be generous. Generous with our compassion, generous with our understanding, with our mercy, with our patience, with our time, our treasure, and our talents too. We're to have generous hearts because our Heavenly Father has a generous heart and he wants us to be like him. And we can never outdo God in giving. Jesus wants us to forgive, to give forgiveness, so that we can receive an abundance of forgiveness, to sow love, so that we can reap a wonderful harvest of love. But the receiving and the getting should always be as a result of our giving, rather than our motivation to give. God is a giver with a giver's heart, and Jesus' message in the sermon that we've just heard is simply give. Give to those who ask of you and those who can't pay you back. Give love to those who don't deserve it. Give mercy to those who wrong you. Give the kind of treatment you'd hope to receive from others. Give, give, give. And then, by the way, if you do, your Heavenly Father will ensure that you get back much more in return. God pours blessings on givers, freeing us slowly from the fear and the selfishness and the grief which keep us from giving more generously, so that we can give even more to his kingdom. But he doesn't expect us to do it all by ourselves. If we're honest, sometimes we can get to that stage where we think, I've got nothing left to give. I'm running on empty. Even then we can turn to God and say, can you give me what I need to be able to give? He'll give us the grace that we need in order to share that grace with others. He'll give us the forgiveness we need to be able to forgive others. He'll give us the love we need to be able to love our enemies if we ask him. I know I need that heart surgery so that I can give with an unselfish, generous heart of gratitude towards God. Who knows, maybe even one day I'll be able to share that plate of brownies with a truly generous heart. Today, I'm kind of starting something I want to do every year now, really. We're calling it a Stewardship Sunday, just before Lent. Really an opportunity to take a stock of where we are as a parish, to give thanks for many ways in which we've acted as faithful stewards of the time and the talents and the treasure which God has given us. And last week we shared our parish annual report. Gives details of our parish finances, yes, but it also gives a full and lively description of what's been going on here in the parish over those 12 months. A comprehensive review of the life, the activities, the achievements of the parish with some beautiful photos. There's an opportunity for you to join us online on Tuesday if you want to make comments about or ask questions on the stewardship of our financial resources. And all of this prompts me to say a huge thank you for the many ways in which you have been generous givers, as well as adding a heartfelt thanks to those of you who've been so generous in contributing towards our Closer to Christ campaign. We've now surpassed £600,000 in pledges over the next 5 years, which is amazing and puts us well on our way to that goal of 850,000. And I know that many of you are still praying and considering what you might be able to commit to as we make that final push. You've been incredibly generous, so thank you. And then finally, I just want to talk about Lent, because Lent starts in just 10 days' time with Ash Wednesday. And Lent is always a beautiful opportunity for spiritual growth, a time to prepare for Easter. How many of you have felt like the last couple of years have been a breeze, a doddle? They've been really easy, no problems at all. If I were to ask that question, I suspect very few of you would be able to put your hands up honestly. How many of you have opportunities to discuss and support each other regarding matters of faith and life with family and friends? Again, I suspect not that many of you. And a spiritual campaign that we're going to embark on over Lent is the perfect opportunity to be able to respond to some of those things. We're asking you to commit to coming to Mass every week, either in person or online. And Father Anthony and myself are going to be delivering essentially the same message every week, so there's consistency there. To receive a daily email offering support, encouragement, a little prayer. Read the book Seriously, God with Us, just 8 short chapters. We've got a couple of hundred of them that we're going to hopefully be making available to those who join the small groups, and that's the other thing I'd like to really encourage you to do. So join a small group just for those 8 short weeks. Chance to get to know new people or to deepen faith-based friendships with ones you already know. To explore some of those feelings that we have when life doesn't seem to make sense. To do that in the context of our faith. To come to a place of deeper faith and trust in God this Easter. But most importantly for me, and the bit that gets me really excited, is that we can do this together. We can all of us have a real sense of belonging as we make this journey, this spiritual journey through Lent together. So there's some flyers, some bright orange flyers. You've probably seen them in your places. They give some more details. There's a QR code for those of you who know how to work the tech, which means you can register online today. You can use the QR code, you can go onto our website, you can email in, you can phone the parish office, you can speak to me. There's opportunities for everyone, online and in person. Of all ages, I'm going to run a special group with those who are 18 to 25 years old. We're going to be running sessions for our teens too. We've also got some special materials that we're putting together for our children. So this Lent, maybe ask yourself, do you need a little bit of heart surgery too? And then I'm asking you, with God's grace, to give something of yourself this Lent. Something of yourself to this spiritual campaign. And then there will be gifts for you. A full measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over will be poured into your lap. Because the amount you measure out is the amount you'll be given back.